to you by Chase. Remember suspended wide receiver Josh Gordon. He is not giving up on continuing to play in the NFL. Gordon is turning 30 years old soon and has faced 6 suspensions since 2013, 5 of them for form of substance abuse.
There's no quit in me, and at least I'm thankful for that, and knowing how to get back on track has been, I think, my strong suit. So what has been deemed once my weakness, I think, is I can credit for helping me move forward in life. I learned at a certain point in time to kind of cut out a lot of BS in my life. So, you're getting a guy that's focused. At this age, it's late in my career. I only see it a number of ways, and most importantly, you've been getting a great wide receiver.
Stephen A., talk to me here. Do you like, love, or hate Josh Gordon's comments?
I hate him because, unfortunately, I don't believe him. That's not to say that I think he's lying, because under no circumstances am I trying to paint that picture. I'm not trying to associate the word dishonest with Josh Gordon, because I don't believe that to be the case. But when you say there's no quit in you, that's one way you can look at it. The other way you can look at it, at least some people would, is that you did quit by continuing to fall prey to what you fell prey to. Now, that all depends on how you look at it. People who have suffered from substance abuse, obviously, you have an addiction, you need help. We get that. But he's been suspended for substance abuse, following the NFL substance abuse policy 5 times. 5. He has played in a grand total of 28 games since 2014. We've heard this before. And I think, listen, you can call it drug addiction. You can call it a mental health issue, which we all should be incredibly sympathetic to and empathetic towards. But ultimately, at some point in time, if we're going to add all of those words to the equation, what about the word enabled? And by that, I mean the part of the National Football League. How many chances do you need to give someone? Now, Max has been on the record in the past, chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. If somebody, shows that they're trying to make the effort, give them a chance. I get that. And Max and I both grew up watching, who was it, Max? Steve Howe, if I remember correctly, that played baseball, and he was suspended like 7 different times. You see what I'm saying? So I get it, and I understand it. And, if you're going to do it for one, do it for everybody. I'm with that. All I'm saying is that I wish that when Josh Gordon opened his mouth, I could believe him. Because this is a guy that we know what kind of talent he possesses and what he could be and what he could have been if he was straight, if he were clean, etc. Me personally, I just think that, I would much rather think about him having a job within the National Football League as opposed to a player. Because in terms of being on that field and being ready to go, you can't depend on him. You can't trust him, because he has shown time and time and time again that he is going to succumb to those addictions. And so for me, that's just how I look at it. I heard it. It was good to hear. But in the same breath, I hated it because it made me ask. The reason why I use the word hate when we say like, love, or hate, what he had to say. The only reason I'm using the word hate, Max and Molly, is because the mere fact that he opened his mouth and said what he said, there's no quit in him and all of this other stuff, it made us think about what has plagued him over the last 6-7 years. And that's where I'm at with it. And obviously it's been plaguing him a hell of a lot longer than that, because he's had these issues since he was in school, long before he came into the NFL. I just wish I could believe him, but I don't.
I get it. There's no quitting him. Like, he can't quit the substances, right? Like the substance abuse. He needs to have a little quit in him there. I get the idea, Stephen A., and I respect where you're coming from. You're saying, look, it's not even responsible to enable someone by keep giving them chances. Maybe you're contributing to the problem. I respect where you're coming from, but I like it. I like what he had to say, and let me tell you why. Because if you're struggling with substance abuse, what we all know now, this is common knowledge at this point, right? Mm-hmm. When you hear someone say something like, I'm never going to touch this stuff again, your ears prick up. You go, wait a minute. You can't predict the future like that, especially given your past. No. You got to worry about right now, today, right now. So I'm not worried about even though, like, I respect where you're coming from, and I see that big picture too. I like this because you can't worry about what happened, and you can't think about the past in this situation, and you can't think about the future. All you can think about is right now. Don't quit on yourself today. And if he has that attitude and maintains that attitude, then, and he puts enough of those days together, then I think looking at him and saying, okay, this is your chosen profession, this is what you worked your whole life for, let's give it another shot. Now, Stephen A., I can't pretend that you don't have a compelling case. Wait a minute. Once you get to that point and you give him another shot, maybe you're undermining the work he's done. Maybe he is someone who is better off not actually getting to that place where he gets the thing he's working for, because then it'll undo the hard work. Maybe that is the case. But I can't live that way myself or kind of like hope that for other people. I have to think that if he's putting in the work day in and day out, and he puts enough of those sober days together, where he says, see, like, I'm going to do that again today. I can't tell you about a week from now or a month from now. I can tell you about today. Then I am in favor of giving him another chance and another chance and another chance.
Well, let me be very, very clear. Nobody's rooting against him. My whole point is that I wish he were telling the truth. And I think that the words that he used, no quit in him, is what really, really resonates. Because, Max, you and I can sit here on the outside and look at it from various perspectives, and it's to be respected. I don't totally agree with you. I'm certainly not rooting against him. I want him to come back to the NFL. I want him to be a star, whatever. But the point is, here's why I hate it. Because when you talk about no quitting him, can an NFL team say he didn't quit on them? Can the Cleveland Browns say he didn't quit on them? Can the Seattle Seahawks say he didn't quit on them? Can the New England Patriots say he didn't quit on them? Can his friends, his loved ones, and others say he didn't quit on them? Can NFL officials who've extended a helping hand, can they say he didn't quit on them? We don't know if they can say that. We can surmise that they could very well say, you quit on us. Because somehow, some way, despite all the assistance, and by the way, let's be very, very clear, assistance that most people would never receive. Most people in this day and age, I can assure you, I can't mess up 5 different times and have this job at ESPN. It couldn't happen. You couldn't either. Molly couldn't either. I can assure you in corporate America that couldn't happen. I can assure you in work in America, people ain't going to get as many chances. In most situations, that's not going to happen. Now, obviously, you're a professional athlete, star-studded, because this guy's star caliber talent, at least he once was. We understand that there's different strokes for different folks, different rules for different folks. We get all of that. But in the end, what it comes down to is that we do get an opportunity when you make a statement like that to look at a history and ask ourselves, well, do you have a history of quitting? Now, some people wouldn't label it that way. Some people would sit up there and say, okay, it's a mental health issue, Stephen. Can't help himself. Fair enough. Others would say, no, it's an addiction. All right, fair enough. But there are people, a number of people, a number of entities who've extended a helping hand. And one time after another, 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 he has come up short for the same issue. And we can't ignore that.
I get it. I get it. And I get, as I said, it is a compelling argument to say, as much as we wish it could be different, maybe it actually enables the self-destructive behavior by giving him a job at a certain level, because the NFL, that's big time, right? Maybe he's better off not big time. Maybe I understand if that's enabling. I think that the monster got him, Stephen A. That monster got him. and it's a hell of a monster. And as long as he's battling it, as I said, if he can put enough of those good days together, even at the risk of enabling self-destructive behavior, it's hard for me to sit here and say, take away that dream.
I ain't saying the man shouldn't have a job, shouldn't be gainfully employed, shouldn't have a means to make a living or whatever. But in terms of being on the football field, to me, he has shown you can't trust him to be on the football field.
I just want to say one thing really quick here, guys, because so many people are battling addiction issues and mental health right now, and I understand where you're coming from. But for anybody at home that's dealing with it, it is a disease, and like he's saying, there's no quit. You can't quit on yourself, and it's one day at a time, and you do your best, and you put one foot forward. And sometimes in life, we feel like things are happening to us, but maybe they're happening for us. And we talk about this if he doesn't get an opportunity. We saw with Chris Carter when he got cut, how it resurrected his career. But at the end of the day, you can't give up on life, and you can't give up on yourself, and you have to do your best, and you have to continue that fight every single day. But the only person that can change themselves is themselves. Josh Gordon has to want to change. It doesn't matter what the NFL does. It doesn't matter if he has a wife, if he has this, that. You can only save yourself. Wanted to get that off my chest because I take addiction very, very seriously.
So do I.
Really feel so do I.
So do I. I have family members. I have family members who've been afflicted. I just lost a family member in the last week. And we all have that. But in the end, what it comes back to is it's really about the statement he's made. And then we have to ask ourselves, how many times have we heard him say this? This isn't the first time.
Yep. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. When we come back, some other comments I want to get into. That would be Draymond Green saying there's something he does better than every other NBA player ever. Find out what that is and if he is right. And is it possible that the Washington football team name could stick in the nation's capital? Stick around to find out why Stephen A. isn't having any of it. More First Take coming up next.